Welcome back to The Creative Niche. I am your host, Jason Buehrer, with my brother, Josh Buehrer. Welcome to the podcast.
Nice to be here.
All right. So we're going to do what we call a family feature. We're going to drop these episodes every now and then just to let you know a little bit more about our family, let you know a little bit more about what their role is here at Window Creations in Crystal Creek Glass. Working with family. Wow. What do you think, man?
Challenging sometimes, but, we make it through.
You make it through.
Yeah.
That's all you got to say after working for how many years now? 20?
It's somewhere in that neighborhood.
20-ish?
Yeah.
But who was here first? I mean, let's be honest.
You were there. He was the one who was here first and the longest. I kind of went off and went my own way during college, and I, kicked around a few other jobs, and then I come back.
At the end of the day, I think when I was in high school, I knew what I was going to do. I knew that I was going to come back in the family business. I don't know why I knew. I don't even think that I understood, like the direction. Like when we're thinking about moving from high school to adulthood, I mean, it's so strange to think about, especially now. We're looking back and we're like, what the heck made me think that I wanted to do stained glass all my life or work in the glass industry? But I knew, and I think I was probably, I think fairly can say, I think I was the only family member out of the siblings that felt that way. I think you wanted to do something different.
Yeah.
I think Katie originally wanted to do something different, but
it's funny how we all found our way back here, though.
Well, I mean, when you have the opportunity in a family business to not only grow, as in professionally, but you also get the opportunity to grow, personally. And, I've heard Dad talk about it a lot of times, all through what we've done here as a group is, Dad worked a lot.
Yeah.
He worked a lot, right? And a lot of times when late into the evenings, he would be working at the shop, much like we do today, right? We get stuck here, projects are needing done. And so we work on those projects until they're completed or as far as we can get with that specific date, right?
Yes.
So when we went to look for Dad, we would find him at the shop, and we would talk to him
all
at the
hours
shop.
of the night.
He not all hours.
Oh, I mean, he was there late some
he was
nights.
there late a lot of nights.
Yep.
But we look at that differently than what a lot of people do. A lot of people say, "Well, my dad was never home," and I know that we've heard Dad talk about it a lot. Is he would say, he was building something for his family, right?
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is the time that we lost when we was kids.
Oh, we've all gained it back now.
We've all gained it back.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Because
we're here every day.
We're here every day.
Yep.
We see each other every day. That's tricky in itself. I mean, like,
Lucky for us, the place is big enough. Sometimes we have plenty of space between us. But when we've needed to come together, we've always been there.
Yep.
Yep.
We compartmentalize though.
Yes.
And why do we do that?
Well, we're just highly specialized in different things, and then that's good. I mean, if we were all good at the same things, I mean, we would have too much overlap and too much being on top of each other, and
too much conflict.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad that there's sometimes that we're completely off doing our own separate things, and we're all good at them. But we have those different branches that we have to take.
When we was first growing into the company, I'm gonna speak for myself. Like when we was growing into that role of whatever we was gonna do, we was kind of operating like a Swiss Army knife. You had to operate in tons of different sectors, and I can't say that we're completely out of that phase. I mean, we still kind of cross over into a lot of different segments of the business, but we try to specialize. And I think that specialization has really helped us not have too much conflict.
Yeah, I definitely think that's true. I mean, if I had to do what you do, there's no way I could do it. You have a whole different skill set than I've got. I do more of the technical stuff, like I help behind the scenes with the podcast. I do the digital productions that work with the printer, and I do photography because that's, part of my background. You've been in sales. You've been in, all the areas of working on the crew, which leads into how to go around and, showcase all the different parts of the business. And being in it the longest, like you have, every little piece of the company, and that's helped you. And, Kate's got her own thing, and my wife's got her own thing.
Yep. But with that being said, I learned a long time ago that I wanted to know everything all the time about every different segment. And by doing that, it was really a limiting factor. It was a bottleneck, a significant bottleneck. And, as we've gotten larger, for us to try to do everything would be absolutely catastrophic, in my opinion. Because number one is I'm stepping on your toes because you have your segment, which is, the digital production management of a lot of the glass art pieces that we produce now. For me to come in and try to micromanage what you do, number one is you're not going to like it. Number one. Number two, I'm not going to do it as well. And number three is it's pulling me away from what I would do on a day-to-day basis that I would say that I'm more excellent at than what you do.
Well, and you are highly specialized in that. I just was pointing out the fact that you have a great general knowledge of most of the parts of the company.
Well, no, I'm the point is I think, yes, I do have a well-rounded look, but I think it's important for people to understand that, you can't call me to what, how to fix a machine or how to run the printer. I'm not going to know. I know of it, and I know a lot of the information around it, but I don't know how to do it. And so true. For me to try to act like an expert on the phone, I won't have that, but I will have general knowledge of what's acceptable and what's not. You'd agree.
Yep.
So, just kind of going through some things that we've talked about, what can you tell the audience about Joshua Buehrer? What can you tell us about your role, how you got there, what led you to come back into the company after working for other people there for a time? We want to know about you. This is the family feature. Okay. It is about you, true. And we want to know, whatever you want to share.
Yep. Well, as you know, I did branch out. When I went to college, I picked up a lot of other jobs. I just wanted to step outside the family business because, I had worked in it a little bit when I was younger, but I wanted to go and experience different things. And I think that's helped me. I experienced my background in photography during that time, which helped us with our digital production here, also photographing all the stained glass windows and cathedrals that we go around to. I picked up a lot of sales knowledge at a different job. There was some technical aspects with audio equipment that helped me, even put this podcast together. There's just been a whole lot of pieces and parts to the puzzle. And if I hadn't gone off and done some of that, I wouldn't have had it to bring back here. And so you never know how that meandering path is going to get you from, where you started to where you end up. But I think it's all worked in our benefit to have had other experiences. I mean, even Dad, he had 3 companies at one time. He even started in, believe it or not, it was his father's business, which was lawn and garden and power equipment. Mm-hmm. Then he moved into the sign company. And all of those things brought, the mechanical knowledge from the power equipment business helps us maintenance some of our machines even to this day. Yeah. The plotters that we used in the sign company, that was part of, all that design software and everything that got us, in the forefront of computers early on, because computers weren't used in stained glass as much back then. I mean, as far as, drawing things up and stuff. Well, that graphic design experience came out of our mobile billboards company. So all these things that, are part of our past, it really helps tie us into the future, and it has brought us forward. So, on a personal note, some of the things I like to do, I'm an outdoor enthusiast. I like hiking and backpacking, and I'm also into amateur radio. I'm an amateur extra, which is a classification for ham radio. And so,
something I have no interest in.
No, as
far as ham
I believe
radio.
most people probably don't, but it was interesting to me. And, I learned more technical sides of things because of some of those hobbies. Photography, it brought me then into videography and video editing, and that's all part of this podcasting.
And podcasting? I mean,
yes.
we had the vision to start up this podcast, and I love podcasts.
Yep.
I do,
Mhm.
and
We listen to a million of 'em.
I do. I love listening to
Yep.
knowledge. I mean, my kids are always like, "Can we turn the radio on?" Because I'm listening. I like to listen to information.
But you like
I'm
to
a big-
learn.
I do. I like to take all this information and try to figure out how does it apply to me, or sometimes it's interesting. But music. I listen to music, but if I had a choice between a podcast and listening to music, I'm going to listen to information-based podcast. And so I
YouTube University.
yeah,
Yeah, you get to learn things that there was a million things I learned. A lot of what, you learn about, all the editing procedures I do. I mean, if I'd had to go to college to learn all that, it is so readily available now on YouTube and other learning sources. I mean, technology has changed everything. And it's made it all free. It's like the public library of, it's a video library. That's all it is.
Yeah.
But it's been tremendously helpful to, I think the whole world.
Well, yeah. I mean, it has
Yeah.
been beneficial. About what we're able to use on a day-to-day basis and how we're able to fix. I'm going to call it more simplistic problems. Not always are they complex problems. Sometimes they're just I don't know how to do that.
Yep.
How many times have we figured out how to fix something at the house with essentially a YouTube video?
Yeah.
I mean, digital changes is really changed who we are. So those are good experiences. I mean, you went to college. You went to college. You and me went about the same time. Did you take a year off? I can't remember.
Yeah, that's why we ended up in college at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, I did take a whole year off, and it was kind of, like I said, figuring things out for myself, and I think that was to the good. I never think that I lost time or anything. Maybe some people would view it like that, but it got me experiences that just going to college and being an academic wouldn't have.
So you went to college for business marketing,
Yep,
business and
marketing, yep.
and I went to business for administration.
Look how we fit in.
Do you think that the college education really helped you?
No.
No, I can't say that. As much as I understand,
I love education.
I do too.
I don't the systematized going through all the prereqs and everything. I think that did very little for us.
And I don't know that I'm not slamming colleges. I'm not saying that they're not necessary. I mean, in certain professions they are. But
yeah, if you're going to be a doctor, a lawyer, accountant, you got to have certain.
Or if
degrees.
you don't, for us, I think we're in a different box than a lot of people. And the fact that we did have business entrepreneurs that just we were surrounded by.
Yeah, we had good role models.
All of our family members, in one way, shape, or another, was either a business owner, an entrepreneur, a farmer, or somebody that
Ran their own
essentially
business.
ran, or was at the forefront or the top end of what they did. Right now. I'm not saying that for all of the extended family, but we were surrounded by it.
Yes.
So I think we had a good base of teachers that we got to learn from outside of that college atmosphere. College is great if you're going to work for somebody or work at a high level for somebody or maybe be an entrepreneur. But the only thing that I can really tell you that I retained from college is the fact that nobody cared whether you got your work done. The professor didn't really care. They wanted to give you curriculum, and if you did the homework, you got the passing grade, and you got your diploma at the end of your cycle. But what college taught me is because nobody else cares, it's on you to get the work done and to be successful. And so I probably got better grades. I'm almost positive. I got better grades in college than what I did in high school, not because it was easier, but because I realized the concept of life is getting out there, getting stuff done. You're the author of your own success.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
Yeah, I definitely do. I think entrepreneurial-based thinking is good for everybody. And I don't care what business you're in.
Even as an employee, the mindset is
Yes, that's important. You have to drive forward all the time. That's the spirit of an entrepreneur. You move, and that has to be carried over into anything. I don't care if it's even just personal aspects. It's your health, your family, things like that. You need to drive forward, and You have to make that a priority every single day. Education for just the sake of education, but with no application, what's that worth? I mean, if you're not going to apply what you learn in that college, I mean, you could run spreadsheets on Excel all day long, but I mean, and if that's part of your job, it's part of your job. But I'm saying that's not driving forward, to move the needle in any meaningful fashion. I don't think. Would you agree with that? That there's
I would. There's I think what we're trying to get at is those are all tools to help you.
Tools, yes.
They're tools, but really the mindset is, I mean, you got to be looking for the W. You got to be looking for the win in everything. I mean, ultimately, life is about striving for something. Doesn't mean you're not going to take an L every now and then and have to rebuild because you had a loss here or there. No, that's not what it means. It just means that every day that you get up, win or lose, the goal has to be to win, but losses are just stepping stones to get you to the final goal.
right.
I mean, any business owner will tell you we've lost something. We've won in this sector, we've lost in this sector. The goal is that you win more than you lose.
Yep.
That's the goal. That's the life goal.
And any loss you take is just feedback. If you take it as a loss and you take it personally, and you're like, oh, I can't move forward from this. No, every time you lose, you have to learn something. And as long as you're learning something and you're making a correction, then you'll get different results next time. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expect something different. That's not going to work. But if you're constantly taking feedback, saying, okay, slight adjustment here, slight adjustment there, and are we closer now? Yeah. And that's the whole thing. I mean, always be looking at, did this decision I made, did it get me closer or did it move me further away? As long as you keep moving closer to your goal, you're just like Edison with the light bulb. I'm just discovering ways not to make a light bulb.
And in business, that's what we do. Wow, they gave us some tough questions on this thing, on what we want to talk to you about. But here's a good one. I like this one. How do you handle disagreements professionally?
How do I handle disagreements?
Because we work with family.
Yeah, there's
so we probably
we've
handle
never
them
butted
different.
heads. Never. No, I think that would be disingenuous. But if we have a little blow up, and that happens from time to time, things that there's a disagreement or a difference of opinion, you have to keep the company as a whole in mind, and you go, okay, we had a disagreement. Let's talk this out, come up with some new options, keep the ball rolling. But is that a frictionless environment? No, probably not.
No, and we know family businesses in general, let's face it, they're known for conflict.
Yeah.
They're known for, going down paths that aren't necessarily constructive. But I think we've done a really good job as a family to manage that dynamic, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's not easy, and there is always differences of opinion, but I think that's where it really comes into play that you have to stay in your lane. I mean, because if you tried to overlap into my sector and I try to overlap into yours, essentially there's friction there that's going to cause conflict. There's a number of times that I'll see the guys, they have an issue with like a machine and they're fixing the machine. And I could stand back there and I could be like, well, how did that happen? Or what's going on here? Or what do we, explain this to me. It's not helping. It's better for me just to say, well, you guys got an issue. I'm going to walk away and let you figure it out, because really we learn through doing. I do. I think most of the team does, is we're doers. I mean, you're not going to be the best or excellent at anything until you've failed at it probably a dozen times or more, and then you realize, okay, every time we failed, we learned how to succeed. And it also gives you the confidence that to say, okay, I failed there before, wasn't so bad. I'm just going to keep on moving. That is really important.
There's a measure of trust that we have amongst the family that that I'm gonna you expect a certain level of excellence out of my print products.
Yep.
And I expect a certain level of excellence out of how you run the crews and things like that, and how you shepherd the company in that area. And I trust Jennifer and Katie with the marketing. And like you said, when you have to stay in your own lane, it creates a little separation. We can come together to get a consensus, but at the end of the day, you trust the team member that deals with it all
The
the
operator.
time.
Yeah, you're essentially trusting, and we do that with our employees. I mean, I don't want to stand over an employee. You know, are they going to make mistakes? Yep. Did I make them? You betcha. Did we learn from them? Yep. And they won't learn from them unless you allow them to make them.
Yeah.
And as a good leader, I look at my role in the company a lot of times is I'm building people. I'm building people. And if I'm always the guy that takes the burden and throws it on my shoulders and carries it, you know, whether it's making the decision or
You're going to be burned
or
out.
whatever. Number one, yes, it would lead to burnout. But number two is it would never give them the opportunity for growth. And I think that's a mistake. You know, we have to give these people opportunities for growth so that they can become better and they can grow as well. I know that to be true.
Every year we've added responsibilities to everybody. I mean, I know that when I first started, I was in the cement department for quite a few years and soldering and cementing and putting windows together and things of that nature. Over the course of time, I have added so many responsibilities, and each one has actually helped me. You know, you started on the cruise very young. I mean, you were, lugging around scaffolding, you were learning that side of the business, and all those pieces and parts have built you to where you are now. And I remember one instance, Dad was still on the cruise and he was working with you. And I remember that, he was lugging up some scaffolding, and, it was starting to get, at this point in his life, a little bit harder to do it. And eventually you just had to say, Dad, you can either do it or you can let me do it. And there was a little bit of a trust, issue right there where it's like, can I trust Jason to do everything? And he gradually turned it over to you. And the more you took, the better you got. And it actually freed up Dad to do what he's best at.
Yeah, gradual will probably. I don't know if that's necessary. I was on that crew that day, and yes, it has been gradual since then. But that day when that happened, and I
It was
finally
a turning point.
It was a turning point for Dad because I just looked at him and I said, Dad, I said, if you ever want to grow bigger than what we are today, you're going to have to allow me to take this over.
Yep.
And you said gradual, and the reason why I'm kind of pausing on that is because I very vividly remember it. He stopped right where he was. He tied the rope off on the top of the scaffolding, climbed down the scaffolding, and right then is when the transition was made.
Yep.
And at that point,
And he never picked it up again.
I took over 90+% of exterior operations. He moved more into product development, growth, all the above.
Yeah.
So it did make it was a seismic shift at that moment. And we all have to make those. And it's very difficult to let go of something
he
that
had
you've
to be
built.
willing to release it.
Yep.
Yeah, he had to be willing to release it to you.
Because up until that point, him and Mom really had built the company,
Yep.
right? I mean, yes, we was there, but we didn't build it in the early stages. Since then, we've helped
Tremendously.
grow the
Yes,
company.
but we all became adults, and we all had to, add our portion. But yes, they were the impetus behind starting this company and get it up and running.
So once they got it up and running, though, what we learned is as we grew, and I think this was the catalyst on why a lot of, like yourself, Katie, and the number of other family members that came into the company, it allowed us to grow in such a way because we all then became more specialized in our field. We was building a business, we wasn't building a job. If we was creating work for ourselves, we would never grow. But we built a business that essentially grew. So we wasn't, as we did take on more responsibilities, there's only so much work one guy can do, or one gal. And so we learned that at a young age too, because we seen how much it helped when Dad was able to release a little bit to me, and then you came on, and then Katie came on, and then Brad, and then Jess, and then Jen, and then so now
It is a big family business.
We have a family organization that now is really, that's at our core. But we also have a lot of great employees. Employees that have been with us for a long time that really have taken that the reins as well in their sectors, and that's important. Building people. It goes back to building people. It's important to us.
People and teams.
Building teams. Can we do better at it? Yes, we can. Everybody can. We can all do better from where we was to where we're going to be. But and that's one of the really awesome things about this podcast that we're starting to implement is we're trying to find different entrepreneurs, different faith-based leaders, different whether they're not an entrepreneur, but maybe they're just a leader in their field. We want to learn from all these different people and their perspectives, and we're going to get the opportunity to do that on these podcasts.
And everybody has something that is a teaching moment that they went through that we didn't, and we can glean from that. And so, like you said, we're going to have on all these other new people and from different walks of life, not just dealing with glass, right?
Right.
I mean, it's going to be all different kinds of businesses.
Yeah, because everybody has something to offer, and we're not special, in the fact that we're the only ones that have this great knowledge. I mean, there's tons of people that have way more knowledge than what I have, and I love to glean from, which is why I listen to a lot of podcasts and why I like to listen to a lot of business people, is because you learn something from being in that circle. And we're hoping that the Creative Niche podcast is part of that circle of growth, that we can bring people in and our viewers can get that opportunity to listen to those people as well.
Yeah, those are conversations that unless you specifically asked them or found these people, you were never going to know their backstory. You were never going to know the lessons they learned or the hardships they had to overcome. And I think you learn more from hardships than you're ever going to learn through good times and, let's say, just getting lucky. I mean, now, I don't believe there's a lot of luck. There's a lot of hard work that goes into things. But, I mean, being at the right place at the right time, that's important. I mean, that's, that's part of the equation. But hard work after that is, the foundation of any business. And I want to find out how other people applied hard work to their situations. If that makes sense.
No, makes perfect sense. So let's go back. We're trailing.
Off topic.
We're going off topic here.
It's a family feature.
It is. It's a family feature. You get a little bit about everything.
Right.
You're going to learn a little bit about all of us eventually. But I think it's important that they
tell
understand.
people where we're going.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we're still going to have testimonials. We're still going to have that opportunity to bring individuals to the viewers, on specific church projects, right? We're going to have specific church projects that is showcased on how they went through the decision-making process. And it'll still be a lot of fun to learn a little bit about what we're doing in the marketplace. But there's definitely going to be a lot of different things on here. Let's see here. How family values, you'll like this one, how family values influence company culture, faith, craftsmanship, and integrity.
Well, let me think about that a second. But I think you put God first. He's got to be the very first thing. So
we're a group of believers here.
Yes,
I
we
think
are.
that's pretty important for the viewers.
We believe in Jesus. And if that's not your first priority, nothing else matters. I mean, you can always, as a business, you go, my customer is number one. Well, your customer is not number one. You want to serve that customer in the way that you would, serve God. You want to, you definitely have to make sure that all your values and integrity is based on that foundation. I'm trying to think through this the way I would, want to put it out there best online, but Jesus first, family, business, personal life, all those things.
They're all intertwined.
Yes,
I think
they
is
are.
What you're getting at.
Yes, I mean, it's hard to separate those things and parse them out. But maybe you have a more concise way of putting it that would...
I mean, I'm not saying...
That's a deep question.
Yeah. No, it is a deep question. What we're finding... is, I heard somebody say it the other day. Really, your money is just a bunch of paper. It doesn't mean anything. Yep. But somehow we've came into an agreement that money translates into
success or
goods
whatever.
or whatever. But at the end of the day, the only thing that keeps that money valuable is, coming together as a country and having a strong country. That's the only thing that keeps your currency valid. You know, look at business as like a currency. The only thing that keeps us valid is the fact that we are striving to, you know, essentially bring a lot of value to the church and to make sure that we're not compromising on our beliefs in the meantime. You know, and I think that's how you have to guide, you know, everything that you do.
Well, the Bible says, work as though you work unto the Lord. And so when you take that into business, you do everything with excellence. I'll be the first person to fail my own projects. If I have a project that I think I could have done better, you've seen me, you know, just take prints and trash them. I'm just like, nope, that's not going out the door. You know, not with our name on it, not with the level of excellence we expect. And that comes down to, you know, you work as though you work under the Lord, and you want to produce excellence in everything you do.
Well, and what I always tell the guys out on the job sites is, you know, typically, if you know that there's an issue, like you did something just a little bit wrong and it needs to be fixed, I'm going to say 90% of the time, you can fix that issue in 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Why would you not take the 5 to 10 minutes to make it right? Okay, so you have to back out 12 screws and pull the frame out and put it back in because you forgot to do this. And, excuse me, if you took, in most cases, a stopwatch, the guys would have it fixed within 5 minutes. But so many people cut corners to save my 5 minutes. We just don't do that here.
No.
And that's the neat thing. You know, I think it's pretty cool. The importance of separating business conversations from family conversations. Do we do that? I don't even know that that's possible.
No.
With us. I mean,
I don't care if it's Thanksgiving or Christmas. Business somehow, and my wife will be the first to tell you this, that never goes away.
And we'll be talking about ham radio. Oh yeah, but did you see what we did at work? I mean, I don't even know how it happens.
You don't know how you segue into it, but somehow it always ends up back in business, and Jen will tell you that.
It does. Yes.
Always ends up in business.
It does. Let's see here. Examples of projects that succeeded because you worked together through Jason's leadership and vision and Josh's precision and technical expertise. I think they're building us up.
They're setting us up for something.
I don't know if it's setting up for failure or not.
I mean,
that was pretty lofty words.
Yeah, that was.
You know, so.
Jennifer wrote that, I'm sure.
So, but we don't take ourselves too seriously around here.
No. We work well together, but nobody thinks of it in terms like that.
No,
you know, you just we come together. You say, okay, this is the thing we need to do. This is what we got to get accomplished. Let's just start. I mean, and how many people don't start? You know, they set a goal or they set an expectation, and then they fizzle. That's what they do. They fizzle. You have to start. You have to get moving. And again, that's that entrepreneurial spirit. You know, if we'd have talked about this podcast instead of making one, where would we be?
Right.
I mean, we'd be off the air. Nobody'd know about us. Nobody'd even know it was an idea.
Yeah. So in the famous words of Kramer, they let the cat right out of the bag. So I don't know if we don't separate it, right? We don't separate business from family life. Maybe we should, but we don't.
I don't know how you could.
You know, I mean, we are.
We're here all day.
I hate
when we go
to break
home,
it.
That's all we have to talk about. You know, it's like a spouse comes home from work that works 2 separate jobs. Oh, tell me about your day, honey. Well, we were all there. So it's like that's what you have to talk about when you get home.
Yeah, and sometimes you don't want to talk about it.
No, you're just like, that's what you have those ball games for with those kids.
Yeah, so
that gets you out for a little bit.
So if you're looking for us for advice on how to separate business from family, that's not it. But maybe a guest on here will give us some good insight, and we can learn ways that we can separate that, because it probably is important. But we've not.
As long as it doesn't cause problems, I don't see a real big issue with it.
Yep.
What else they got?
What you do differently if you were starting over?
Starting over.
I don't know that I'd do anything different. Would you do anything different? I don't
think we'd end up in the same place if we did anything different.
I'm not the type of person that thinks that I would do anything different, because if I did anything different, I mean, could I have changed perspective? I got to think about it. I mean, maybe it's not about doing something different. It's about if I could go back in time and give myself some advice. Now that I would do.
Yeah.
Right? I would probably do that.
I think of that song, God Bless the Broken Road That Led Me Straight to You. The thing is, there's a little bit of zigging and zagging that has to happen in life, or you don't end up where you ended up.
Yeah.
And I really don't regret any business decisions, because I think the hard knocks we took led us here.
Yeah.
You know, they were the guideposts that got us here. You know, you learn more from the failures and the things that you bounced off of than you ever did from, you know, your smart thinking.
Yeah. I think I would probably say that people, you know, like I said, if I had a time machine and I could go back, that's where I look at, okay, what would I do different? I'm not saying I would do anything different, but if I had to give advice to my younger self, probably what I would tell him is people are people. You know, don't be so worried about what people are going to think or what they're going to do or how they're going to react to what you've said. I mean, yeah, you want to be mindful of what you say. That's not what I mean. I'm just, you know, the fear of dealing with people wasn't near as bad as in your brain you can a lot of times make it out to be. I was, you know, being young and talking to people, older people in a lot of cases, on a project, on how it's best being done. Well, number one, we don't have the experience.
Or they think you don't.
Or they think you don't.
They think you don't. See, you were in the company at such a young age. You had such a wealth of knowledge by the time you were even 25. You know, that's not true for everybody. Our light keeps blinking.
Yeah.
But you had that experience by the time you were 25 that most people don't get until they're in their 40s. And the person you're talking to only sees a young face.
They do.
Yep.
So I should have got Just for Men and Just a Touch of Gray.
Just a touch of gray, you know, that might have helped you out.
Now, if we're being honest, my best advice to those young entrepreneurs out there is grow a beard. I mean, grow a beard.
That must be what I did it for.
We're more distinguished that way, right? We look a little bit older. Josh watched Duck Dynasty, so he copied them.
Now I've got it trimmed up a little bit better than Duck Dynasty.
You know,
but those are a bunch of young entrepreneurs too.
They was,
or at least they were when they started that.
Yeah, I don't know how young
that was
they
a family business.
It is a family business. I don't know how young they was when they started it, but
well, no, I mean, Phil was in it. Really, you know.
Well, he's the guy
he's the patriarch, but I think all those kids were in it pretty young.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what they did. They hunted. They chased them ducks.
They did.
Yep. But I
that could be fun. I've never went duck hunting.
But we really went off trail there with the beard comments.
I don't care. You know, it's the family feature.
Yeah.
You know, so what do you hope? We're closing it out here. We're closing it out. We've almost we almost hit the finish line. What you hope the next generation learns from watching you, and do you have any lighthearted moments that you would like to end in?
Things I'd like to pass forward. Don't be so afraid of new experiences. Definitely push the envelope all the time and have fun along the way wherever you can. Yeah. I think, and we do that. We have fun around here. There's hard times, there's good times, but a lot of times there's just a lot of fun to be had in business. And if I could tell anybody, you know, a piece of advice, it's just that. Just have fun, do what you love, and the rest will fall in place. I mean, put God first, but do things that you love to do. We love to do our work. And as far as the next generation, I guess, just don't be afraid to start. I think that's my biggest takeaway. I think everybody likes to dabble, and what you really just need to do is start and stay the course.
Yeah, and it is difficult to, you know, not everybody's an entrepreneur though.
No, right? I get it.
Sometimes there's high functioning employees that's where they want to be. They don't want the responsibility. They don't want to work the long nights. They don't want to do the things that are really, really, really hard to get it going. And you know what? I guess that goes back to your comment is do what you love, but don't necessarily start a business because you think it's going to enrich your life. If the experience don't enrich your life, it's not great, right?
Right.
You know, it's not going to be great for you. But if you spending time with your family, working a good job, getting paid, you know, what you need to get paid to be able to live the life that you want to do. I know a lot of people that they spent most of their time with their family, and at the end of their life, they would say, I did it all right. Because that was their goal.
I guess there's nothing wrong with that.
That was their goal. But in business, we also and I'm going to speak for me, maybe I'm even speaking for me, not even the entire family in a lot of cases, is, I love to work almost like it's a hobby.
Yep.
I do. And
you've always said, I like the game.
I like the game. Yeah. And I look at, if anybody ever played Monopoly, I mean, Monopoly is all about playing the game and acquiring assets and growing as a person,
And you acknowledge that that's not everybody's end goal.
That's right. Yeah. A lot of times, sometimes the goal is family. Sometimes it's faith. Sometimes, it's business. And it should be a mix of all three. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. But, where the focus is what that comes down to. So, and Dad said that a lot. I think that's what Dad ingrained into us when we was really young. At the end of the day, you want to get to the end of your life and you want to say, I did what I was
put here to do,
or the way that I live my life, I'm happy with that. And whatever way that is, that's important to seek that out. But
I agree.
For me, I enjoy the process.
Yeah.
I enjoy the game of it. So, but yeah. So I think that's an awesome word of advice from you. Anything else you want to tell the audience? You want to talk to me about?
Let's turn it around. If there were one thing, that you could either go back in time, hop in your DeLorean, or go into the future and tell the next generation what they should maybe look for. Let's just put the shoe on the other foot. How would you address both those questions?
Well, I kind of addressed the one as if I was going to go back.
I was going to
talk. If I was going to go back and talk to myself, so I did do that. What I would tell people is, in a lot of cases, it's, ultimately we are put here for a very short amount of time. Mm-hmm. Right?
Very short.
We're put here for a very short amount of time. Don't compromise who you are to get to a place that once you get there, you're probably not going to be happy with how you got there. Absolutely. It has to be integrity based. And so does that mean we're perfect? Does that mean that we are always going to hit the mark on that? No. But, I'll always remember what Frida would tell us is don't, and Frida was a spiritual mentor to the family. I'm going to say to the family, but to Mom and Dad for sure before she passed away. But, she would always, say, don't even go there if there's a perception of evil. Like, don't even touch it. Yeah. Don't even go there.
She says if there's a door to be opened, don't even touch the doorknob.
Don't touch the doorknob.
Don't touch the doorknob.
Yeah, I think
that was the way she said it. If there's a door that leads to evil, or any negative consequence, it could be extrapolated to anything negative. But if there's a door to it, don't so much as touch the doorknob.
And I'm sure we've all touched a doorknob.
Oh my gosh!
I mean,
I am not perfect.
Nobody's perfect, but
no.
But I'll never forget that. And if you live your life by, if you know it's the wrong direction to go, the wrong door to walk into, don't even touch the doorknob. I think that's my advice to the group, to the audience, is just
walk away if it's going to break your integrity.
Yep. And it doesn't matter about money, because money won't make you happy. A lot of people will tell you that money won't make you happy because their goal was to get there, and when they got there, they realized it didn't make me happy.
Yep.
Enjoy the journey.
Yes.
One other quick deal. I've heard that there's this trail in Hawaii, and I can't remember what the trail was called. And it's actually a drive. You drive on this trail. We'll end with this, but you drive on this trail, and I'd have to look it back up.
I haven't heard about this.
But the journey is to get all the way to this destination on the side of the island or at the top of the mountain, and you get there. And you're like, this is it? Like, this is it? This is what I drove and what I got all the way for? Because people rush all the way to get to there, and then they find out when they get there that there's nothing really there except for a couple tourist shops at the top, right? And I don't know if exactly, and I would have to go back and look at this, but they missed the journey. The road, I think it's like the road to somewhere is the deal, but they got there, and the goal was the journey.
Yep.
Well, they missed the entire.
Because they were so focused on getting where they said they needed to go, they deleted everything else.
They did.
And then it wasn't even in their memory then.
Yep. It was almost like, okay, I got point A and point to B, and they got to point B, and they're like, well, it's not what I thought it was going to be.
Yep.
Enjoy the journey.
Enjoy the journey.
Enjoy the journey. That's my advice. So I think that pretty much wraps up
Yeah.
what we wanted to do here. We wanted to introduce you to Josh here on the family feature of the creative niche. So Josh, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me on.
Yep. And to all the audience out there, to anybody listening, and I hope you enjoyed this episode of the creative niche and our segment of the family feature with Josh Buehrer. Once again, if you like what you've seen, make sure you comment, subscribe, ring the bell, do whatever you do, make comments, share this wherever you can. We really appreciate it. It helps the channel. We hope this has been encouraging to you, and we hope that you learned a little bit more about us. Thanks again.
See you next time.